Okay, hey guys, it's Amy and Vince here. We are doing our first podcast ever together. We've both done podcasts, but not together. So, I really came to Vince about a week ago, maybe not even, and said, hey, let's do a podcast together. It'd be super fun. And he, of course, said, sure, of course, let's do one. What are we going to do it on? So the first thing I thought of is, what do we know most about one another? And it's love. So we decided to do this podcast to talk all about all things love. Love for one another, love for our kids, love for our fur babies, love for what we're doing in life, love for what projects we're working on, and so on. So we thought it'd be super fun. Very broad topic, but a lot of fun to talk about.
Yeah, we've got no real agenda to these. I think after today, what our goal is that maybe have topics that we talk about. We talked about keeping these from 20 to 30 minutes tops, and just kind of quick hitters for people. You know, my vision of it is that moms and dads are, together, you're doing the dishes or you're making dinner and you flip this on and you watch us. You know what I mean? We'll be good about putting the topic in the title. So if it's something that doesn't, interest you, from that standpoint, but it's a great inspiration led by Amy, who's, been doing great in life. After 20 years of raising our kids, has gotten back into the work world here, in the last year or so. And, it's been a real good journey for her. Talk to people about that.
That's been super fun for me. So I just turned 50. Which is exciting. Vince too. So we're at a point now in our lives where our kids are getting older. Our youngest is 15, oldest is 20. And I raised them. I stayed home. I had the luxury of raising the kids. I have a degree in exercise science and health education, and really haven't done much with it. Did some work for Vince in one of his previous companies, doing some office design. So I started a little company doing that, which is really just a small company. I do some work on the side. And Vince is in the mortgage business and came to me and said, you really should do this. You're a people person. You'd really enjoy this. Get out there. Let's go. So here I am, new career. I'm a mortgage loan mortgage loan officer. And just started that really in February and having a ball with it, because it's really just about helping people and making their dreams come true. One of their biggest purchases in their life, which is a home. So it makes me feel good to help people save money, get into their dream home, get into a bigger home with kids, etc.
See, what's funny about that is that, you've kind of had that assistant role for a long time, and you just made a mistake and you're calling yourself a loan officer assistant. No, she's a loan officer. She's straight up loan officer. But anyways, and really not a numbers person. I've been the numbers person in our family, and that's kind of the role that I've had. And really embrace the number piece of this. The business is not that hard. It's, really, there's a lot of things that are done, for you, in the systems that you're in. So it's, heck, when I started, there were rate cards and you had to go over, and then you had to go over on an MI card and you had to add them up. And it was really, really time consuming, and you had to be very, very, careful that you didn't make a mistake when you quoted a deal. And now it's all done automated pretty much. So, but it's really a good gig. So yeah, it's funny. You live your life in stages, right? You get into the kid gig, you really don't know. You don't need a license to have a kid. You jump into it and you figure it out, right? And that's what we've done. I think great. We both come from working family. My mom was a bus driver and a lunch lady. My dad was in automotive. He was an engineer. Amy's folks really from the same gig.
Teacher and engineer.
Yeah, and it's just wild in regards to how we've taken that and. Because the goal is, I think, from a parent standpoint, is that your kids are a little bit better than you, right? And they kind of go to the next level, and that's what I think we both did from our parents. Not that from a standpoint of what's success. I guess we can get into that, but Parents were both successful, both long marriages. Amy lost her mom 5 years ago. I lost my dad almost 17 years ago. So, we're dealing with single parents, at a later age, which, that would be a great topic. Heck, we can even bring, your dad or my mom on to kind of talk about that, and how we dealt with that, as a family unit, which is tough. I mean, people just think you don't take a patriarch of somebody's family and lose them, and things just keep on going. You know what I mean? There's the loss, and you kind of go through that. But anyway, so I'm interested to hear from you. You've been in here kind of running pretty fast here since January, right? And then we didn't have enough going on in our life, so we went and got a puppy. Why not, right? You know what I mean? But that's actually, she's been doing great. It's kind of ironic. It's kind of like the puppy. It's funny, when you concentrate on something, right? This has always amazed me. The third kid doesn't seem like they're as hard as the first one. You know what I mean? It's not that...
Because you're figuring it out, I think.
Yeah. And this puppy, it doesn't seem like, it's our son's, actually. He took on the role as it's in his name and the whole bit. It's kind of funny. But we just babysat last night, so we're getting that back. So anyway, but tell us about what it's been like since January, because January really was, you passed the test and you kind of moved into it, and we're sitting here in the middle of May.
Yeah. So it's been good. It's been fun, I think. So the old adage is, can you teach an old dog new tricks? Yeah, you can. Like, right. I've learned a whole bunch. And the good news is that if I don't know an answer to something, I'm okay with saying, that's a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to get back to you ASAP and let you know. And I think maybe 10 years ago, I would have not been that way.
Yeah.
So I think the older that we've gotten, you get wiser and you get okay. Yeah. You're okay in your own skin. At 50, I'm like, it's okay. I'm good. I'm good. I feel like I'm in a good place to get back to work and have some fun with it. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, I'm enjoying it because I'm meeting new people. I'm learning new skills, and I've got you and people around me that I can bounce things off of and say, this is interesting. Why don't I understand this? Or guess what I learned today? And did you know this? And most of the time he says, yeah, I didn't know that. But really cool. Really cool. So I'm enjoying it. Let's talk a little bit about how we first met. And
okay.
Because like, we've been together a really long time.
What is it? 85? 1985.
So yeah, we graduated in 88. Yes, yep. Since 1985, since yep. we were sophomores in high school. So we dated for 8 years.
Yep. Before
we got married.
Yeah.
We've been married it'll be 27 years this year.
Right, in November. Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, I think people. I mean, yeah. So people are like, oh, that's so cute. Well, yeah, I guess it's cute. You know what I mean? It's cool. You know what I mean? But I just felt right the whole time, right? I mean, it wasn't. But we've had trials and tribulations, you know what I mean? We've, like everybody else, it's, I think, we're happy people first and foremost. So people probably think a lot of the times everything's perfect, what we've got going on, and it's far from that. I can be the first one to tell you that. But it's a great life. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, we've had death, we've had loss, we've had happiness. We've seen our kids now at a maturity level. Our oldest has a pretty significant other right now. It's going on. Is it 2 or 3 years this July?
It'll be 2 years.
2 years. Yeah. Okay, cool. And he's blended right into our family, which is great. And so it's been a great run.
I think it's been fun. I think that. For us as kids, I mean, you have no clue, I think, in high school. No. I think we thought, oh, this is going to be forever and all that. And I think when we went away to college our freshman year, we both went to different colleges, both small private schools.
Liberal arts college.
Yeah.
Adrian and Albion. Yeah.
Yep. In Michigan. And I think that first year was rough.
Yeah.
So that was a really hard year because we were separate. We'd been together. We had mutual friends. We hung out all the time. We saw one another every day. We knew how to do life with each other through high school. And then we got to college and everything's new and fun and exciting and all these new people. And then I don't know. It seemed like a rough year. But then by the time we got home from college, it was like, I think we just sort of were mulling around in the water, trying to figure out, is this going to work or not going to work? Are we going to try to make it work? We're at different schools. I didn't want to transfer. You didn't want to transfer. We wanted to be our own people, but we still wanted to be together.
Yeah, and I think that really worked for us. I mean, I think it was time in our relationship, looking back at it now, is that, and we were pretty tight. I mean, think about it in high school, it was like one day every weekend that we hung out with our friends, and we went out, kind of either with friends or, kind of spent some time. And then obviously the friend times, we kind of mingle together because we were in the same, circles. Really both sports people, cheerleaders, football players, basketball players, baseball players, and a runner, you know what I mean, from that standpoint. So it was, it was a cool time, looking back at it, but I think it worked for us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah, and really it was, taking that separation and figuring it out, right? It was another stage in our life that we had to figure out,
I remember the conversation, I think it was like in August, and you were playing football for Adrian College at the time, so you went early. So it might have been even July, late July, early August, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, are we going to do this or not? So we're either going to say yes and commit to it, or we're going to be like, you know what, maybe this is a break and it was meant to be, and we shouldn't be together, and so on. And we both looked at one another and we're like, I'm willing to do it. Like, let's do it. At that point I was like, I really love this guy. I want to make this work. It does stink we're at different schools, but it's kind of nice. I thought it was nice though too, because then you had your own lives.
Yeah.
We figured it out to be on our own and be together. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think really the funny thing is that I think your parents wanted to see you spread your wings, and this is all good now. I love,
for sure.
We actually, we're a really tight unit family wise, you know what I mean? And we went through some tough times, I think, because your parents wanted to see, not a separate, but I think they were like, okay, maybe this will be a time that we, you spread your wings, I spread my wings, and things of that nature. I think my parents were more like, just let it be, whatever it is. We're not gonna,
I agree.
We're not gonna necessarily get involved. And not that your parents got involved. I think it was a mindset from that standpoint. And from that deal. So anyway, so it was good stuff.
And I think the funny thing is about that, what's funny, because both of our parents were high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
So this is pretty odd then, right? And so here you had parents from your end that were high school sweethearts, and they were just kind of like, this is just how it is. They love one another, and it's just going to be. Where my parents, I would agree with you, were like, hey, spread your wings and, date other people and make sure. They were the same way. They were high school sweethearts.
Yeah.
And they had 43 years of a great marriage. So it's interesting how different parents raise their kids differently in the same, really, situations.
Yeah, and looking back at it, I'd love to interview them both all together. I mean, sit here and say, okay, so why did you, Bill and Barb, kind of push for a separation? Or I said push, maybe that's the wrong term, but wanted it. And then my parents were okay. I mean, did it work out for my parents better or not? Because they both had, trials and tribulations in their marriages too, and had the, loss and things of that nature, and happiness and loss, and everything, it mixes in with that. But it'd be interesting to see what their position was on it. Why they did or said what they said.
We'll have them on at some point.
Yeah,
I think it'd be fun to have my dad and your mom either together or separate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your mom, my dad, and be like, ask them the question. Yeah. That would be interesting to hear their take on it now.
So, I mean, everybody's seeing and heard now of, our long time together. What did we just say? 34 years?
So,
26 plus 8. And,
plus almost 20. Yeah, because we got married just 34, a year.
No, 34, 35 years we've been together, right?
Yeah, we got married. We graduated in 92, got married in 93.
Yep.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
We weren't messing around.
So what's the secret to us making it this long?
I think the number one key is communication.
Yeah. And we even struggle with that sometimes, right? We get busy, and all of a sudden, you think about the times that we don't necessarily click. We got other things going on in our lives that we, don't necessarily, and we talk a lot. I mean, we talk 2-3 times a day. And things of that nature. But
well, I think communication, and then also like just love. I think that I know you love me I think
Sure.
you know that I love you enough to trust in that whatever's going on, if there's miscommunication or there was a fight or anything like that, underlying it all, I know you still got my back and I got yours and we still love one another.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to argue and fight and sometimes miscommunicate, because in the end, you know, you've got that underlying theme of, I got you.
Yeah, yeah. And our goal here for this is really to continue to have these open conversations. You know, I think one of the things that really has helped us, I think it's helped me personally, is you know, it's a good balance, right? You know, my dad actually always said that. You know what I mean? Don't have too much of anything in your life. You know what I mean? And it's if you do, it just seems like, you know, you see people out there that are extremely successful, and success a lot of times is based on money and what people have and things like that. That's not even close to what, you know, we're pretty well off, you know, and we don't want for anything. Our kids don't want for anything. But if I just had money, that's not what I'm in it for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's this relationship. It's this, just recently, you know, really in the last, couple years, is a big deal for us is having all our kids at the dinner table. I mean, 5 years ago, we were like, geez, I'm going to go have dinner in the bathroom. You know, I'm just like, I have it by myself.
We be alone?
And now it's almost like Monday or Tuesday. We're like, oh, this Friday, we, I think all the kids are going to be here. We're going to be around the dinner table.
Yeah.
It's cool.
And sometimes we'll do mandatory, like in our family group chat, we'll say mandatory dinner this Sunday, 5:00. We don't care where, carry out, we're going out, we're cooking, whatever you guys want to do, but it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Whoever else you have with you wants to join us, awesome, but you all got to be there.
Yeah.
And that's been awesome. And I think the kids, they rise up to that too. They want it. They embrace it and they get excited about it, and it's good conversation. It's a lot of conversation, a lot of talking over one another, but it's fun. It's good energy.
Yeah. What else did we want to do in this first one today?
I don't know. I think I'm excited about the topics that are to come. I think you and I will have a lot to share, a lot to offer, maybe some fun things that have happened in our life that we could share, that we could say this has been our experience. It'd be interesting to hear what you guys would be interesting. But I think of all, really everything in life. My whole life revolves around the family and the love of it. But you have to project love that you have for not only yourself, but also like, am I loving this job that I'm doing right now? Do I love this hobby that I'm doing? Am I passionate about this? So that's kind of fun too to be thinking about is what other areas in your life that you have love for something that you want to share.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'd even love to hear what you guys want to hear about. I don't think any topic is really off limits with us. I mean, we're pretty transparent. There's a lot of things that have happened in our life, both happy and sad. You know what I mean? And how we've dealt with that. And I think the thing is that it's not just our solution. Heck, if we tell you, hey, we lost a loved one, this is how we handled it, and both lost parents. My family didn't do well with it. I mean, we sought professional help as a family unit to navigate through that. And if you would have asked me, before my dad died, that we would need help, I would have told you, no way, we're solid. Whereas your family, you guys navigated through it. I mean, it was an interesting deal from a standpoint to see it from that vantage point. You know what I mean? How you guys, but it was, really two different ways, that our parents died too. You know what I mean? Which maybe led into that. And, heck, who's to say having the experience of my dad dying first and what we learned off of that could have helped, you know what I mean? Even though it was, 15 years later, right?
But you learn from all the experiences.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah,
you do.
I would agree.
So, hey, I don't know. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you for saying yes, Vince. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
So look forward to either hearing from you and giving us some insight onto what you want to hear next.
Yeah.
I've got a ton of ideas just floating around that I can't wait to share. So I'm anxious to get back at it and put out more content about love for you.
No, absolutely. Hey guys, see you next time. It was a blast, and we look forward to doing many more of these.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.